We are in St. Paul Square here, this beautiful statue here. Lovely. Let's talk about the Great Resignation. This is really a rant. So a lot of people are moving on. They're just, giving up employment completely. I think a lot of people have been, have had enough. They are fed up with some of the practices they see in employment. And they just, they want better energy, they want to do better in life. And they decided to move away from, some of these working places who honestly can be toxic. I have some experience to share. Please do the same. So feel free to share your own experiences, but majority of my experiences have been really pleasant, really positive, especially, in recent years when I had the privilege to be in more senior positions. But nonetheless, in spite of that, I still had, experiences where, I didn't feel that good about the things I was asked. So for example, interviewing for senior roles, I'm sometimes asked to take tests, and my response to that is, no way I'm going to take a test. I'm not a recent graduate. Why are you going to be testing me for? In my experience, we have a dialogue, we have a conversation, and then if it's a great fit for both of us, then we can shake hands, and I can start work, and you can pay me. But yes, there are some companies that require senior people who apply for senior roles to take all sorts of tests, and technical tests, psychological tests, all these tests. And I think that's really old century, to be honest with you. I think nowadays you can just get someone on board. They can work for you on a short-term contract, or you would call that a probation period. You'd see how they do, how they perform, and together, you and the person, you would make a decision on whether you would like to continue the arrangement on a long-term basis. Other experiences I've had were to do with roles that were advertised without a pay, without the information regarding the pay. Sometimes I would get approached for roles. I changed my approach, and nowadays, whenever I get called for roles by agencies, I ask them how much is the role paying, really upfront. So, because I don't want to waste my time, I don't want to waste their time. So I respect my time, I respect their time. I want to make sure that before we even start the conversation about my experience, that I qualify the role, whether that's something that I would be interested in personally. So sometimes they call me, sometimes I get approached, I get called for roles, and I ask, okay, so what is the role? Tell me what the role is about and how much is it paying. And they would say, oh, we don't have the salary information for the role. We don't have the pay range. And to me, that's a big red flag, because there's no way a company and a hiring decision maker is going to document the role and the job description for the vacancy they want to fill, disseminate that to recruitment agencies or their own HR to do the recruitment for the role, and not know exactly how much they're going to pay for the role. Are you kidding me? No way. So the reason why they actually do this, it's a strategy. They give the job details, responsibilities to the HR, to the recruitment agencies, and they tell them, you go into the market and find out a number of relevant candidates for those roles, and then ask them how much they would want to be paid, and then figure out what's the minimum, the common denominator, what's the minimum pay these people would accept. And then with that information, the company would probably release the role at a later date with that absolute minimum pay, because they already did the research. They know exactly that's there is a market out there. There is somebody willing to do the role at that lower level. So whenever you get approached for a role and doesn't have the pay details, doesn't have the pay range, that's a red flag. It's a waste of time, and most likely they're looking to get the they're looking to pay the minimum they can get away with. So never good news. Other behaviors I've seen that may make people join the Great Resignation relates to interviewing process being quite dry and sometimes not so positive. So things have changed. I can see the positive change in my own experience, but experience of others. But still, there are some people out there still practicing interviews where they put the candidates in a position where they have to validate themselves. They have to grovel at the feet of the interviewer. So that's never a positive feeling for the interviewees. So I guess what people want when they go out to interview candidates, they want to feel good, they want to be complimented, they want to be treated nice, they want to be appreciated for their career achievements, for the people they are. Just being a human being, you deserve respect. There's no need to grovel, there's no need to impress nobody, and you should be treated with respect and you should be appreciated. Otherwise, why would people even bother showing an interest or showing up for the interview, let alone work for your company? Another element that can contribute to the Great Resignation is this new trend of working from home. I guess with the experience we've been through for the last 2-3 years, people have gotten used to working remotely for an extended period of time, and they got to reflect. They had enough time to reflect on how much life is being lost on commuting. So even myself, I live in London, quite central, and it can take me up to 45 minutes to commute from one point in London to another point in London, still within the center, like the center of London. And you can imagine people who live outside London or whatever city you are in the world. It can take hours to commute to a place of work and hours to return back at the end of the day. So I guess one reason why people have given up is because there is still a persistent requirement for people to show up at the office and work from an office. And I guess some candidates, some employees, they think to themselves, look, why am I needing to work from an office when I can be more productive, I can work faster, I can deliver better quality work working from home, or remotely, and I don't have distractions, noise behind me, or around me in an open office to distract me from my work. To be honest with you, I spent one day in an office in the last 3 years, one day, and that day I couldn't focus much, and there were not that many people in the office. So I got a real shock to try to work in an office again after all this time, and having small distractions here and there, voice, people talking, people walking around me, and as I said, there were just a couple of people, not a full office. So I can understand why people, they don't want to, go back. Why would they? This is life. Life spent on commuting to a job is life you never get back. It's sleep you could have more of. There is a lot of things you could do more of by not having to commute to a job, if you can do better work from home, or at least the same level of quality work, and you can continue to build and maintain strong relationship via video conferencing. I think this has changed the experience we all collectively globally had has changed the way we work, the way we interact with each other. I think this trend is here to stay, and companies who do not adapt to these new lifestyle requirements from candidates and employees are positioned to lose on the long term. Let me know how you feel about all this. Have you It's okay. Let me know how you feel about this. Let me know your personal experience with this, and if you have anything you would like to add that I may have missed from this list. So let me know in the comments down below, and let's all share and we can all learn from each other. If you enjoyed this video, please share, like, and subscribe, and I'll see you soon in one of my next videos. Take care.